There is one thing that unites all of us as human beings: the rich, the poor, the great, the small, the good, and the evil. One thing that equalizes us, one thing that makes us more of the same, and that is time. It is the one commodity, or probably would call it treasure, that everyone has in equal measure. Our math has taught us that a day usually has 24 hours. That means that every one of us will go through them at least in that same measure. Whether you are small, whether you are great, the point is, time is equal for all of us. Time is equal for every person. But then there is this thing called chance. Not everyone has an equal chance in life. Not everyone has an equal opportunity in life. The only opportunity you have is the presence of time. But again, the opportunities that come within time don't always come to everybody in equal measure or at the same time. And that's where now the big difference begins to come in. Now, being a common commodity that every one of us can and usually accesses, there's usually a challenge that most people go through, and that is procrastination, where you say, you know what, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'm going to probably do it later, I'm going to meet that person probably later on, I'm going to call that person tomorrow, next month I'm going to visit them, and we make plans of the future at the expense of today. There's one thing you must understand, that first of all, you are not promised of tomorrow, you're not promised of the next minute, but the one that you have full control, at least for now, is now. Are you getting this? So that means that if you have something to do, the best time to do it is now. If you have somebody to talk to, the best time to do it is now. If you have an assignment to do, in whatever case, if you have a vision to write, if you have a concept to develop, then the time is now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not any other time. The time is now. Now, procrastination is usually a challenge that everyone in one way or the other goes through, and I found out that there are several reasons why people go through procrastination, or at least embrace procrastination. And the top one is lack of clear direction and purpose. Lack of clear direction and purpose. You don't have any idea of where you're going. You don't have any idea of what you are made of. You don't have probably the best of knowledge and the know-how of exactly what are you aiming for. What is the end goal? What is the purpose of the whole thing? You don't have a clear focus. What are we going to? You see, imagine an aircraft that has already taken to the air and it's about to land, and the pilot doesn't see anything because of the weather, and then there is no digital system to help them navigate and land safely. What do you think is the most probable thing that will happen? In most cases, unless there is some intervention of some sort, then the probability of a crash is very high. And by now you know that aircrafts, by the complexities they have and the mode they operate in and the systems that are used there, if that thing crashes, survival is almost close to zero, if not zero. You see, so that's kind of the same thing with lack of clear direction and purpose. If you don't know where you are going, there's a probability you are going to crash, because again, one thing we have in equal measure is time, but the problem is opportunities don't come to us at the same time or at the same measure. The chances do not come to us at the same time or at the same measure. That means if you miss your opportune moment, like that airplane missing the airport for landing, the probability for your life going down is high. The probability for you never getting up again out of that mess is very high. So you need to have a sense of clear direction, a sense of purpose, and this is where again a challenge comes, because a lot of young people right now do not exactly know what they are aiming for in life. They are very much confused, and the influence that is there is so negative and pungent, and you just find that they get into groups, they get into gangs, they get into associations that are not exactly right, because they are confused as to who they are, and nobody is trying to help them to know who they are. So if somebody just accepts them and is willing to make them go the extra mile of adventure, probably into drug abuse or into criminal activities, they'll easily go because they don't exactly have a sense of direction or where they are going. So anybody who blows them, then well and good, they go to that direction. So parents need to take full responsibility at some point to help their children understand and identify their purpose in life. They have to guide their children to know about life. Exactly what are these children made of? And by that I don't mean that you try and box them into your own ideas and try to box them into your own ideologies and desires. You need to let them be free, because if you try to tame an ego and raise it with chicken, one day it will learn to fly, and the moment it flies, I don't think it will be able to come back there or even forgive you for that, and it might also eat all your chicken. So be careful, parents, when you are raising your children. You need to make sure that the sense of purpose is instilled in small actions like discipline, like helping them do what they are supposed to do. If you notice an interest they have in them, then find a way to invest in that interest until it grows to become something of substance, you see. And I can tell you that children don't always become what you thought they will be. This life has surprises in itself, so make sure that you are open-minded to help your children have a sense of clear direction and purpose. And there may be somebody who is already above the age of probably the age of adulthood. That means probably 18 and above, and you don't exactly know what your purpose is already. You don't have a clear sense of direction of where you want to be, and that can be challenging because now your parents can't come in here and they may not exactly be able to advise you in the best way possible, probably. But this is where you utilize other people like mentors. You've seen people out there who you believe have that some great connection with you as they speak, as probably they do their things. You see, honestly, this person is inspiring me. It is prudence that you find your way to them and get to interact with them and get to know, what can I do, what can become of me, because you don't want again to waste your time. Because if you waste your time, then the probability of you never evolving is high, and you can be sure if you don't do something, then you're adding a burden to somebody else next to you. If you are confused, there are high chances that you'll confuse everybody behind you, because again, everyone at some point is a leader. You never know how many people admire you. You never know how many people are following you without telling you. So you can imagine if you get into a mess, the kind of catastrophic cause you are causing to the people that are behind you. That is very important that you have clear direction and purpose. Simple things of the day. Before getting into the activities of your day, have a written vision of what you want your day to be like. Have a written timeline. This is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to do it, and this is the time I've allocated for me to do it. You get? That's good planning to the future. That meaning that should you be graced with that time, then this activity will fit that specific time schedule. Because again, you can't do everything at the same time. You get? You are not promised tomorrow, yes, but you have now. So whatever you can do now, do it. That means plan. If planning is the best thing you can do now, do it. Then now begin to accomplish on the plans that you've made. That will give you a sense of clear direction and mark your progress in life, helping you be able to measure the impact you are making as far as time utilization is concerned. And the second cause of procrastination I found is misalignment. That means that you are not exactly trajected right to the vision that you probably already know about your life. You are not taking on the right process to the path you want to go to. Now imagine you want to probably go at a place right, and then suddenly, for whatever reason, you begin to go left. There is a high probability you will never end up at the place you want to be. So if you are not aligned with the processes, you are not aligned with the people that lead you to your vision, believe you me, you'll begin to procrastinate on things because there is no passion or support system of what you want to do. So as a result, you find that whatever you are doing never produces the result it's supposed to produce, because you are not already aligned to systems of advantage. You are not aligned to the right people. So every time the investment you make of time and effort and value never gives you any return, and that becomes a sense of discouragement, because you always want to see something good come out of the small things that you do, the small effort you put in. But the fact that you are not aligned means that whatever effort you put in place won't exactly give you the best of returns. So it is proper that you make sure that you are correctly aligned to the right systems, the right people that are targeted towards your vision, towards what you want to become. If you go to an institution and you probably want to be a doctor, you cannot go to a class of engineering. Honestly, it won't lead you to where you want to be. You'll begin to see concepts and lessons and teachings that are right but are not good for you. You get? As a result, that thing will frustrate you, and you'll begin to get to a point where you want to go to class, but you're like, I cannot go now. Probably I'll go later. And you keep going to the same mess because you've lost your focus, you've lost your alignment. But the fact that you've lost your alignment and you're going to the wrong place means that you will procrastinate on a lot of things. The simple tasks you need to do during the day. You probably have a presentation to make, but you're not using the right presentation tools. The tools you are using are not effective enough. Believe you me, there's a probability you'll procrastinate and begin to push activities ahead and start trying to accomplish them at the end of time, or at least at the edge of time. You see, because the effectiveness that should come with your process is not earned already, and as a result, the pain that comes from you doing becomes a barrier for you to act promptly. So it's important that you make sure that you are aligned to the right systems, the right processes, the right people, so that you can utilize your every minute carefully, and so that opportunities cannot pass you, and you can become that person that you really desire to be, a great person indeed. The other common thing that probably most people may not want to hear, and honestly is a real ache in a lot of people, is lack of discipline. You see, you don't get disciplined at something you don't do regularly. That's the fact about the thing. If you don't repeat an action, if you don't repeat a behavior, then it cannot be engraved into you as a discipline. You see, it only qualifies to be a discipline if you do it again and again and again, regardless of the oppositions and the challenges that come your way. So you set yourself against all distractions and against all odds, against all challenges, against all setbacks, to commit yourself to a given cause or action. So if you don't have that sense of commitment, if you don't have that sense of and the sense of attachment to the activity that you're doing, then you don't exactly expect yourself to be called a disciplined person. Now, if you're not disciplined to a given cause or matter, chances are excellent that your time will not be effective. The results again you need and desire will not come forth, because there is a process called growth. You see, every tree that bears fruits was once a seed, and the gap in between it being a seed and being a tree that produces fruit is what we call growth. So growth does not happen suddenly. No, it takes time. It's a process, and while growth is happening, there are usually a lot of challenges. So growth usually takes time, and it takes effort, and sometimes it's painful. So as a result, you need that discipline that comes with focus. You know where you want to be, you know when you want to be there, and you know the price to get there. So you lock your focus on that and ensure that you keep doing the small things that add up to the end vision that you want. And that is where discipline comes in. But if you're not disciplined, believe you me, you will never have a sense of urgency as far as actualizing purpose and destiny is concerned, because you are not time conscious. You have not come to the realization that what we call the entire time a person lives on earth is actually lifetime. The point is time. That means every day is usually minus the total number of years you probably have to live on earth. So if you keep wasting time, if you don't appropriate your time well, then honestly, you may be a pain to your world. You may be a regret after you go, because you are here all the time but you didn't do anything important. You didn't do anything that is really impactful and helpful to the society and to the people around you. So it is important to lock your focus on what you want to be, and that will fuel your sense of discipline to keep doing something even though it is painful or inconveniencing in any way. Now, the inability or unwillingness to endure the process is also another key critical thing that causes people to procrastinate on time, procrastinate on events, procrastinate on activities. Nothing is easy on this earth, I can tell you, and if it's easy for you, it was never easy for the person who made it easy for you. So as a result, the pain that comes with you wanting to do, or at least actualizing the desire you want, usually can become a reason why you may not exactly want to get back there again. For instance, in school setups, you'll find that probably you'll need to do go an extra mile to get that grade that you want. You need to have a sense of commitment that really bars you from quote unquote enjoying the life that you want to enjoy. You get? So that pain that comes with you doing, that pain that comes with the process, usually sometimes it's not something that most people want to go through. They don't want to endure that process. I've probably, and I know you've heard of the story of the eagle. There comes a point in life where it has to actually get rid of the old self so that the new self can come out. Also, snakes usually go through that process, and for the eagle, it has to hit its beak against rocks and pluck out its feathers to make sure that at least it gives itself another chance to live and to see life for its beauty. But that process is usually not easy. That part of becoming, that part of evolving, that part of being regenerated is usually not easy. It's usually a very painful part, because you're actually getting rid of something that is so engraved in you, like the feathers of an eagle. Imagine just plucking that thing out of the skin, and you get how deep they usually are, because they need to be structurally strong to ensure that the flight is well taken care of and it's safe enough while it's flying. So you can imagine that depth of the feather and the pulling out, the kind of pain it causes is usually very high. I can believe that. So whenever you are putting yourself to be disciplined, you are actually getting rid of some behavior, some characters that almost have become a part of you, that somehow in some way they've become you see. So that in itself is painful. It is painful because you probably have some friends you used to hang around with, and they usually give you that positive vibe, but the sad reality is that they are distraction to where you want to be. So if you choose where you want to be, then that automatically means that you're going to get rid of these friends that give you that positive vibe. You see, that thing is painful in itself, because emotionally that thing will affect you. You will literally feel the gap, and at some point you'll be alone. You'll feel the loneliness that comes with that. So it is important that you understand that nothing is easy. Everything is painful in a way. You need to endure the pain of the process. You need to endure the challenges that come with actualizing what you want to achieve in life. Time is important. It is true. Time is important, and if you have good times, make sure you use them to produce good people out of it. Make sure you use them to produce the best version of you out of you. And if times get tough, well, use that as an opportunity to become tougher, to become resilient, to become more enduring. And by that, you'll be able to have a good stand, at least as far as time utilization is concerned, and that time allocation is at its best. And probably the last thing I'll point out is the absence of support structures. The absence of support structures can be a reason why people can procrastinate. And there are many people who have wanted long to do certain businesses or get into certain ventures or do some innovations, but the absence itself of the support structures, for instance, incubators, for instance, mentors, can be a reason why people can procrastinate, because they are like, okay, I don't know that path, and I don't have enough resources to afford me the learning opportunity in the path. If I miss it, I miss it. I only have one shot. Once that is gone, it's gone. So the risk assessment becomes like, whoa, I cannot. Honestly, it is not prudence to try this venture without these structures in place. And to some good sense, that is true, because if that shot is missed, then that may mean the end of everything. So that moment of waiting for structures to be established so that people can do something, that also becomes a reason why people can procrastinate on certain projects, certain activities, and many other good things that should be done. So it is important that you make sure that while you are developing a dream, while you are focusing on the place you want to be in life, have it at the back of your mind. For you to be effective and efficient, there are structures that need to be put in place to ensure you become effective, to ensure that you become easy, or at least you become or at least you guard the resources that you have. Because again, as much as time is a resource itself, there are other resources that usually eat up time in exchange for them. So if you miss them, you'll have lost both the resources and the time. So it's important to have support structures, people like mentors. You need to have processes, you see. You need to have certain technologies when you want to achieve some things in life. So it is important to have them in place, have a good research. What can I use to make sure that I am better and more effective in what I'm doing, you see. And that becomes an effective way to utilize your time. So by this, I'm hoping that you'll be watchful for opportunities in your life, because it is true, I've come to realize that sometimes life gives you the right people when you need them at the right time. So don't really be so blinded by the pains of what you are going through or what you want to become, to a point that you don't see the opportunities that come your way. Please make sure that as much as you are focusing on your place, you are open-minded, because there can come a system or a structure that can actually make the journey easier for you. For instance, you can find somebody just decides to be good to you, to favor you. Somebody just decides to show you kindness, and the pain you'll be going through, for instance, trying to establish a company, a person just comes and is like, okay, I'm interested in this thing you are doing, or that's awesome. So they just decide to help you. They are good people on earth. They are good people, or people who want to promote a product or promote their company or give back to the society, and they be like, okay, we as the company ABC, we want to do this and this to that and that person, and probably you can get an opportunity there, and what would have costed you 10 years to build just costs you a year to build. Somebody just compresses that time for you. So it is important you set your mind to look for opportunities, identify opportunities, be open-minded, to help you redeem your time, to help you appropriate your time well, and so that you don't exactly waste your time around things that really matter but could have been easier, and that way you won't procrastinate. You also need to make sure by you identifying the opportunities, you don't always see things as they are. You have to sometimes look into things for what they could be. Yeah, you need to look at things for what they could be. Now, if you take an orange, there's a possibility most people will see a fruit, right? But there's somebody who can just take that orange, and what they see is actually a company, a global company that probably produces juice, somebody, or probably some medicine or something. you need to see something for what it could become, not for what it is at the moment. Because everything, whatever everything presents on the outside is usually the least it can be. Everything has a potential inside it that is way more beyond what you see of it. You get covered within that shell, covered within that context that your eyes meet at the first glance, is an opportunity or potence that can change the world, to become a better place, to become a more probably economically driven venture, you see, or at least a hub that can lead to the betterment of many people out there. So it's important that when you see life in itself, don't see things as they are, see them for what they could be. That now points back to your mental state, or at least your intellectual investments. How much content have you put in you, and what exactly is your mind consuming? That way, whatever you put in you becomes the sieve through which you filter information, you see. So if your mind is filled with trash, honestly, there's no way you'll ever see things for what they could be. You'll actually see the bad side of something. Instead of seeing an orange, you see something that will actually stink in your house, once you don't eat it on time. You see such things. But if you have the right content in your mind, you have the right mindset in you, believe you me, there are high chances whenever you see something, you'll see it for what it could be, but not what it is. That means you identify the potential within opportunities, and by that, you begin to make ventures that can actually do a good return for you. So it is important to look at things for what they could be and not what they are, and that also includes people. I can assure you that life will bring to you the people you need at the right time, but sometimes these people don't exactly come the way you would expect them to be. They usually come hidden, because it is true, everything is a treasure in itself, and it actually hides it, right? It usually hides it. So just like the example of an orange, whenever you see an orange, you can just decide to see an orange, and that's it. But inside the orange could be a company. Inside the orange could be a whole forest, you see, because there are seeds inside there, you see, that can grow and become these plants that can lead to more and more and more. So everything and everybody who comes to your life is a treasure in themselves. Some don't know it, but some do know, and they are going somewhere, and probably eventually they will know. So if you treat people for who they are at the moment, you may regret tomorrow, you see. So it's important that you see people through the lens of what they could be, but not what they are at the moment, because people change. You never know the opportunity that they are going to meet with and who they are going to become in the next few. So it is important that you treat people for what they could be or who they could be in the future, not just who they are. It is based on that you can be able to show kindness to people, you can be able to be good to people, and you can treat people with equality, knowing that in this life there are many things that we don't have control over, but at least we can take advantage of the opportunities we are given to make the best out of every opportunity. You get? Yeah. And then you need to be resilient, knowing that what you do or don't do can be the reason the world becomes a better place or a hell to be. My name is James Oiganjonganga, and this is the Motivate series.